With 20 plus years working in the art department, you tend to watch movies a little different. I mean, I pay attention to details that no one really pays attention to. The set dressing, the props, the color, the tone, all these things, if done right, you're not supposed to notice. That's why our job most of the time goes unnoticed. A lot of times, my focus falls off of the actors entirely and into the sets they build, but I love when it all connects. And I'm in with zero distractions. It's a big ask, and it's not an easy task as a filmmaker. I've worked with every kind of director, and my favorite directors are the ones obsessed with every detail, the ones that are in my face during every step of the process. And it can be annoying, but it's the best. It brings out the best in me, my team, the designs, and I love that because, honestly, I'm here for their story. Everything that I can do as a designer is to help them carve out their visual architecture of the story that they're trying to tell. And Guillermo del Toro, he's honestly one of my favorites. I haven't had the pleasure to work with him yet, but he is a true storyteller. He lives and he breathes this process, and it shows. I mean, his version of Frankenstein has these specific choices that bypass your brain and they go straight to your gut. And once you know what to look for, you see them in every frame he's ever shot. So we're going to peel back a few of those layers in this video. But before I get into that, if you're enjoying my deep dives into these visual story architectures, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me grow this channel and keep bringing these visual breakdowns and discoveries. Let's talk about why Guillermo calls himself a pest. So during pre-production, most directors, they stay in the production office to work. But he moves his office into the art department because he knows that if a single prop, a teacup, a scalpel, a curtain is off, the magic fades. And he's protecting his story, his vision. He understands that set decoration isn't just stuff in a room. It's the physical manifestation of the script. And when a director demands to see a prop 3 times a week, he's not micromanaging. He's building his vision. He's making sure that when you see Frankenstein, you're not just looking at a set. You're looking at this historical fantasy that keeps you engaged in the story. Here's the thing that fascinates me as a designer. In Mary Shelley's original novel, she vaguely describes the locations. And this leaves the visuals for your imagination. It's giving an open door for a cinematic interpretation. This book is fueled by her own personal loss, her guilt, and the consequences of her own story, and it's so good. And after 50 years of carrying this baby, Guillermo isn't just directing a movie, he's finally exhaling. It's that rare moment in Hollywood where the visual story architecture is built on a lifetime of anticipation. And you can see that weight in every detail. And Guillermo's team didn't just look at the 1931 Frankenstein Universal sets to regurgitate visuals. They looked for real, physical interpretations and found the Wallace Monument in Stirling. And I love this discovery, taking a Victorian Gothic tower, a real piece of Scottish history, and using its silhouette as the spine for the laboratory. I heard that they did key frames before the script was even finished. And as a designer, that tells me that the vibe of the architecture was driving the story, not the other way around. It's the difference between a set that fits the scene and a set that creates the scene. When I was watching this, I couldn't help but think of Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I mean, think about the art department work there, man, with those massive brooding interiors. They felt like they were bleeding. And this movie was made by humans entirely. It was before the CGI era took the weight out of our sets. In Frankenstein, Guillermo is reclaiming that operatic scale. We're moving away from that in the last decade, favoring green screens and smaller studio builds. But this lab, they didn't take shortcuts. Victor's apartment? It's so amazing! This is where the visual story architecture really shines. It's cluttered, it's cramped, it's crooked. I've spent my entire career fighting for plumb lines, and the production designer Tamara Deverell did such an amazing job leading her team to create a world that embodies the mind of this crazy man. In the German Expressionist era, it's about emotional and individualistic designs. They were aimed to convey feelings through distorted forms and unusual structures. They used tilted walls to show a tilted mind. By making Victor's world physically off, the architecture tells us he's already lost his way before he even stitches a freaking body part together. And when Oscar Isaac walks into that space, he's not just in a room, he's in a physical or a psychological blueprint of his own obsession. Now the lab itself is massive. The layers, the details. Guillermo describes that shoot like a concert with Victor running between equipment like a musician with a massive like synthesizer. And I've been on sets where the machinery is just a plastic shell. But here, they built 15-foot glass battery towers that were practical, and they transitioned from like green to red, and it rained inside the studio. And when the camera sweeps into that crane, you see the scale of an obsessed mind. It's frantic, it's wet, it's bloody, and it tops every other lab we've seen because it feels functional. You can hear the gears, you can smell the air. Now this is amazing. The ship, 135 feet of real craftsmanship. They built this in a Toronto parking lot because they couldn't fit it in a stage. And in an age of digital shortcuts, they built this beast like on a gimbal that tilts back and forth. It's an optical illusion. It doesn't make sense that something that large and heavy would be handmade today. And sadly, I honestly don't think that many films will be made at this physical scale again. This film is a beautiful reminder of why I love this industry so much. And Tamara Deverell, hats off to you. The set decorator, Shane Viu, hopefully I pronounced that right, and their team, man, no doubt they should take home the Oscar for production design on this one. You have my official Art Directors Guild vote this year. Thanks for watching.